beautiful, beautiful program that you guys did, and it means a lot to the residents when, especially children come, because it reminds them of their own children and their grandchildren. So thank you for spending your time, and I know that was a lot of memory work for you guys, wasn't it? That was a lot of memory.
A lot of practice time that we put in.
Wow. Jennifer's daddy works here. Is that cool? And her grandma lives here. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So Jennifer, thank you so much. We
Thank
did
you.
phone tag and email for about 3 weeks trying to set this up. So thank you for being patient. This is Jane Chapman. This is Rosa Frenier. And go ahead.
Okay, so boys and girls, what kinds of questions? We mostly wanted you ladies to share with us what it was like how for you when you were a child, or how it was different from what they might see today, or how it was the same. So I don't know if you have a story to share, or if you just want them to ask you questions.
I think they should ask us questions.
Does anybody have a question about maybe what kinds of toys they played with, or what they did?
What kind of toys did you play with?
Well, when I was a child of your age, my grandmother made my toys. She made me a sock doll. And I played with bricks, which was my car. And I played with sticks, which was my people. I was born and raised on a plantation. And back when I was born, it was pretty hard to buy anything.
She used bricks for her cars, play cars. Good imagination, huh?
We were both born during the Depression. So
There wasn't much. Yes.
Do they know what the Depression is?
They don't know what that is.
No, they don't, but they will grow
They-
up to know.
Yes, yes. They were born at a time, boys and girls, when lots and lots of families had a hard time earning money and buying things. It was a long time ago. It was called the Great Depression, and you'll learn about it when you're in high school. But it was a very hard time when they grew up. Not a lot of families had money to buy things.
How would you like to play with the rag doll and bricks?
I would like to go like this with the doll and make it move around. And I would go like this with the bricks.
Well, that's what I did.
Because I molded a real brick all by myself.
wow. When I was your age, I lived in Indiana, which was a lot of snow. I got to walk to school in the snow.
Lucky.
Did you like walking to school in the snow?
I don't remember.
You don't remember.
To the snow.
It's very cold. And I went to a one-room school.
Ooh, we'd like to hear about that. She went to when she went to school. She went to a school where it was all the grades were in one classroom. It was just one classroom, the whole school building, one room. Can you tell us about that? What you remember?
Well, there's a few things I don't want to tell. I got into trouble.
You got into trouble.
But I learned to sit down and be quiet. Because I'd like to.
How many children do you remember being approximately?
There was about 7 kids
7 kids in your class altogether?
in all 8, from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Right.
That's all there was.
And what kinds of tools did you have? Books, or what did you use to write on?
We had a slate
A slate.
that we wrote on.
Do you remember that's like a chalkboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to school and look at these cities. Did your mom make her jacket? Because if it's snowing.
Did your mom make your clothes?
Yes, she did.
Yes.
And it was always nice and warm because it was below freezing, which is really cold.
Are there any other questions?
What were your clothes black and white?
No, they were had colors.
They had colors.
Yeah.
Were they sparkly like this?
No, didn't have sparkly stuff.
No sparkly stuff like Amanda's hat, Mr. Jackson.
Oh yeah, my hat makes sparkles all over the house. That's mine.
When you were children, did you watch TV?
They didn't have TV.
So, boys and girls, that's really hard for them to understand because they watch TV and they play with video games. So can you tell us what kinds of things did you do since you didn't have TV?
Well, we went outside and we played hopscotch, dodgeball, and, just outside. We were always outside playing.
Mm-hmm.
And at night, when we were in the house, we had one radio, and we only played that one radio once a day. We didn't have it on all day long like the TV's on. And we'd gather around the radio and listen to the music that was on that night and the news. And that was the extent of our entertainment then. We
I'll
had-
sit down over there and listen to radio.
You got guys sisters?
No,
No, we're just friends. We're just friends, that's right.
Aiden, what's your question?
Did you have any chores?
Yes, we did. I had to help milk the cows,
Yeah, I was.
had to feed the chickens,
had to
I
gather
had to
eggs.
slop the hogs,
You had animals?
I had to gather eggs,
She worked on a farm.
and I did a lot of things that,
Breaking? Breaking?
raking, yes.
Everybody had their chores back then.
Things different.
Where she lived, was it snowing in the spring too?
Sometimes,
Well,
but we got a lot of it in the wintertime.
did you have to get water?
We had a pump outside, and we had to pump down and get the water to come out.
And we had,
And
well,
outside bathroom.
Outside bathroom, they've heard a little bit about that, outside bathrooms. Even if it was really cold outside, right?
had to go.
You had it. You tell, and they learned a little bit about that. What do you call them? A little slop drop, slop jar. So if it was cold outside or dark, then that's what you use, like a chamber pot, right? And then a chore would be to go and empty that.
I threw mine in the river behind our house.
Yes, dear.
Does it ever snow here?
I don't think so.
No,
It doesn't
she lived in a different state of Indiana.
doesn't snow in winter.
Jenna, what's your question?
Does it snow where she lives?
No, we didn't have any snow there, but we had icicles this long hanging from the house. Where did you
get
live?
icicles?
In Georgia.
Georgia.
What did you grow?
We had peanuts, we grew corn, we made our own garden, we grew our own food. We had tobacco, we had all kinds of food, which we grew for the market, and we had cotton, and I picked cotton, and I cut weeds out of the cotton when it was growing. And a cotton sack is pretty heavy when you get it full of cotton. You wouldn't think so, but it is. It weighs 100 pounds.
Wow. John? James, what's your question?
What did you guys get for Christmas?
That's a good question, James.
My grandfather made me a table and chairs. Little ones. And that was it, and I thought it was great.
And my grandmother used me to ride dogs.
You could put little toys around it and
We were lucky if we got one toy.
talk about stuff.
We got plenty to eat, but we didn't get one toy.
You could talk about that.
Nick, what's your question?
When you just started having electricity, were you a kid or adult?
That's a good question.
I don't remember when they started having. I know we had a phone that you had to crank,
Oh.
to call anybody. but it wasn't Larry.
What did you do?
We had lamps. And that was it. Yes, dear.
On Christmas, do you go to church still?
Yes, we do.
They have, you know what's really cool about this place is they have church come here. So during the weeks, pastor will come to the residents and they come up to an upstairs room somewhere in the building and they have a little church service here.
Yeah.
And then also on Sundays, they have somebody that'll drive the seniors to go to different churches if they'd like. Tristan, what's your question?
What? Did you go to school almost every day?
Monday through Friday, just like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
And she had to walk to school.
But we didn't have a lot of books to carry around.
Okay.
We had
No backpacks, huh?
no backpack.
What did you carry your lunches in?
A sack.
A paper or a cloth
Yeah.
sack?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, maybe 3 more questions. So Jenna and Nick and Anthony. Jenna, what's your question?
What did you wear on your birthday?
What kinds of things did you wear? Can you talk about your
I
clothes?
go a snowsuit. They're nice and thick, kept the cold out, and boots.
Okay. Did you wear a lot of dresses when
Not
it was
when it
not
was-
cold?
No.
Not in,
Oh, when it wasn't cold.
when it was, yeah, okay.
My mother made all of
What do you
Yeah.
want, sweetie?
How old are you?
I am 81.
I'm 82.
So you
And we have a lady tomorrow who's going to come play the piano, and today she's 100 years old. Isn't that cool?
You should sing her happy birthday.
She's actually on the other side right now. So I
Okay.
was thinking something was really interesting when they were talking about their grandparents making their toys.
Mhm.
They made their toys because there was no money for toys. But if you can find those toys today, how much are they worth?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I just thought.
Yeah, that is true.
Even some of the old Tonka trucks are worth quite a bit.
That is true.
The closest thing that they have today is like the Raggedy Ann that that my grandmother.
And they probably don't even know Raggedy Ann.
What is it, hon?
did you ride horses to school sometimes?
Yes, no, not to school. I had to walk 5 miles to school.
5 miles.
5 miles.
Wow.
Was it ever hot in Georgia?
Oh, it was hot in the summertime, but not in the wintertime. Not through school.
Okay, and then Nick's last question.
When did you ever get here?
When did you move to California?
Like when did you get into the senior?
Oh,
I
yeah,
came, it'll be 3 years in March.
3 years in March and
I've been here since February
February.
of this year.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you just an interesting side note on Miss Rosa. Her husband has been missing in action since Vietnam. And I'm not wearing, I usually wear the bracelet, but I hurt my arm, so I'm not wearing it. But I wear the red bracelet. And so she's a veteran's wife
Yeah.
with a missing husband.
David Christopher.
January 22nd, 1966, his plane was shot down at sea. And they haven't found his body yet. So they declared him KIA with an MIA status, which means killed in action, but still missing. Because they haven't found his body yet, and he will be carried as missing until they do. And I don't think they're going to send divers down in the bottom of the sea.
No.
So it's been a long, hard
That must have been
46
What
years.
would you do in the weekend? What would you do in the weekend?
Here,
No, when you were a child, what did you do when you weren't in school?
went to church every Sunday. Played with all our
Play.
friends. We always played outside. We didn't stay inside at all, even in the snow.
Mostly because their moms were saying, get outside.
Just like my mom.
Just like
But I want to go on the computer.
But back then, it's not like today.
Right.
I would just
Today, you're afraid to let your children out. Yeah. You're afraid that something's going to happen to them. But back then, nothing happened to the children. It was all
Much
safe.
safer.
It was a lot safer than it is today, and we thank God for that period of our lives. It's not like watching children get kidnapped and murdered.
Thank you so much, kids. Thank you. You guys are amazing.
We love you all.
Thank you so much for sharing.